Hey guys, just a warning, if you hear something cooking in the back, I'm cooking, and if you hear weird noises, yeah, that's things frying and such. But today I wanted to share a word. So I wanted to share a word from Deuteronomy 11:13 to 15. And if you will indeed obey my commandments that I command you today, to love the Lord your God and to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul, he will give you the rain for your land in its season, the early rain and the later rain, that you may gather in your grain and your wine and your oil. And he will give grass in your fields for your livestock, and you shall eat and be full. Obey the Lord's commandments, and he shall provide for you. People think, okay, maybe I'll come to Christ and I'll get everything in abundance. And some may not. You have different purposes in life. You have different ways that God will show his glory through your life. And I was born completely healthy and everything, and when I was 5 years old I lost my eyesight, so the right side. And when I started going to church and I was like, please Lord, heal me, heal me, heal me, heal me, I want healing. And it didn't happen. I still have it. And I always thought that I had issues. I always thought that I wasn't perfect. I always thought it was sin. I always thought that I didn't have faith and everything. But I'm like, I don't know God's plan with my life. And then when I started talking to people and things like that, and people felt inspired that I finished my studies even though being half blind, I passed my driver license, I started my business, I did everything that I wanted to do. And then, people felt inspired. Then 5 years ago, I started getting this crazy vertigo. I still have it. If you see me swaying up and down, it's the vertigo. And it started with in my inner ears, then it got into imbalances issues, now it's in my neck, and it's crazy. So I've been dealing with that for the past 5 years, feeling imprisoned into it. And I felt like God abandoned me, but I'm like, okay, I'm gonna remain in here. And then I keep talking to people and I'm like, okay, I'm doing my business, I'm like pushing forward, I'm positive, I'm like, and people feel inspired, and people are like, but how do you do this? And I can only say it's because of God. And then I come in closer with some friends and such, praying and like fasting together and doing these things together, and I'm like, whoa, these are things that I never thought I would be doing. I did them many years ago, then I'm like stopped, and now I'm like pushing there again. And I'm like, is God using this moment for this? But regardless, all of that, obey the Lord's commandments, and he shall provide. And some people think like, let me go revisit something. Yeah. So some issue that we have now, of course, is Deuteronomy, so it's like in the Old Testament, and now we have the New Testament. So people think like, oh yeah, we have this thing in the church, in the Christian community, God knows my heart. People are like, it's grace, God knows my heart, I can go and do whatever I want. I can be and do whatever I want and blah blah blah. No, it doesn't work like that. I remember a few videos ago I did mention that grace do have an expiration date, and that's your expiration date. And you living and tomorrow not being promised, living in obedience in Christ would be the ultimate thing for your life. Not only for the fear of God and for the going to heaven, but for the love that he gives us here on earth. It's unconditional. So yeah, the things that people are saying now, like, God knows my heart, blah blah blah, and I can go and be whatever, and there's grace, and being basically lukewarm, and biblically God doesn't like that. God really doesn't like that. And it is like sad to see. And because it is sad to see, it is really sad to, I don't know, be like feeling that how you say, like back in the Old Testament, you will have like big consequences, like things are ending. But now that we have grace, the consequences might not look the same. You're gonna keep sinning, and you're going to slowly move away from Christ, not because he wants to, it's because he hates sin. And if you're sinful, he's there, like he's the same yesterday, today, and forever. So you keep sinning, your heart is moving away from God. You keep moving away from Christ because you cannot be with him and not obey his commandments. You cannot be in communion with him every time you come back because of grace. That is done. Yes, Christ went on the cross and he did it. It's done. But you also have to walk in obedience. Build that relationship with God. Sin, God, and obedience. And fully devoted to Christ, he gives you what you need. He provides for you. And he just, here, this is what you need. I provide for you, will not go without not having. So just think about it. There is a grace, but there's also obedience in Christ. There's also an obedience to God. If you keep sinning, you will keep putting things in your heart that you're slowly going to be moving away from Christ. That's a consequence. Those are consequences. I remember, like, I started doing certain things, then slowly I was okay with it. It's not that bad. I'm not overdoing it. And then I find myself here in a place where I'm like, I don't want to be distant from Christ. So then I'm like, whoa, I need to come back. I need to, get back to the fear of God. I need to get back to obedience. I need to shake off those things. But I didn't even know that I got this far until I got this far. And it started with grace and God knows my heart. No, be obedient. So that's what I wanted to say. Bless. Next time.